we are officially beyond the debt ceiling, and the Tim Geithner at the Treasury Department is dancing as fast as he can to find cash that he can lay his hands on legally to spend until Congress does something about it. Dr. Laurence Kotlikoff is with us. He's an economist with the Pajamas Media PJ Institute. PJinstitute.com is the website. And Dr. Kotlikoff?
Yeah.
Welcome to the program.
Nice to be with you.
The President of the United States has said, I'm in favor of raising the debt ceiling. The head Democrat in the Senate, Harry Reid, the head Democrat in the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, they've said we're in favor of raising the debt ceiling. The head Republican in the House of Representatives, John Boehner, and the head Republican in the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell, have all said we're all in favor of raising the debt ceiling. It has to be done. Why not have a clean bill that raises the debt ceiling, as was done, for example, during the Reagan administration when he tripled our national debt, or as was done several times during the Bush administration when he added another $5 trillion to our national debt? Why not simply have a clean bill that raises the debt ceiling and then have the fight about, or the discussion, or whatever you want to call it, about where we're going to cut, who's going to pay more taxes, who's going to pay less taxes, who's going to, whatever you want, whether or not we're going to privatize Medicare. Why do these two have to be conflated? Why is this not blackmail or extortion, actually?
Well, there's a strong words, and I would say that some of the people who are concerned about not passing the debt, expanding the debt limit, are very concerned about the extortion of the next generation, about the fiscal child abuse that's been part and parcel of the last 6 decades of fiscal policy.
Sir, respectfully, that's nonsense, and you know it. Ronald Reagan, we had a debt in this United States from the time of George Washington until the time that Ronald Reagan was elected. And Ronald Reagan borrowed more money in his 8 years than that total debt from George Washington until Reagan. We've had 30 years of Reaganomics here, and you can't say that the guys who brought us this debt, Reagan and Bush principally, the only balanced budget you had was Bill Clinton. You can't say that those guys are not the ones responsible for it.
No, you haven't heard me carefully. I said both parties have brought us to this point where we have not just official debt that's quite as substantial. It's really not the official debt that's a big problem. It's really the unofficial debt to pay Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid benefits and deal with all the defense spending we're doing. So we have bills out the wazoo. You have to realize, I don't know where you think I'm coming from, but I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a professor of economics at Boston University. And just so you know, I'm middle of the road. I'm concerned about a policy that we've been running that's been expropriating our kids. We're leaving huge bills. So at some point, somebody's got to stand up and say enough is enough. Now, I don't whether or not it happens now or happens this summer, we are really bankrupt as a country because the liabilities go far beyond what the official debt numbers tell us. The fiscal gap, the present value of all the spending obligations minus all the taxes measured in, as economists would, in present value, is about $200 trillion. It's about 14 times GDP. That's a bigger ratio of fiscal gap to GDP than Greece has. Greece has got a ratio of about 11.
Right, and our taxes are 1/3 of what Greece is. Right now, our tax rates are below where they were in the 50s. They're the lowest, frankly, since they've been since 1928.
Yeah. So I think we need to have more revenue, and we need to have a share of GDP, and we also need to have less spending because neither of the
So we've got, George Bush added $5 trillion to the national debt, and a good chunk of that was he had 2 wars off budget, said we don't need to pay for these. Dick Cheney said famously, deficits don't matter.
George Bush, the second Bush, was probably the fiscally most profligate president in history.
And then you've got, you mentioned Social Security and Medicare. Social Security is off budget. It's not part of the federal budget. And it has a $2.6 trillion surplus. It will pay every penny for the next 27 years. And if you simply lifted the cap so that Bill Gates pays the same percentage as you and I pay, Social Security will be solvent forever. I'm sure you would acknowledge that.
Well, Social Security...
is that not true?
No, I think some of what you said is true and some is not true.
What is not true about what I said?
If you look at the table B46 in the trustees report, you'll see that they have a present value fiscal gap just for that program by itself that makes the system 27% underfunded.
Right,
so
but what?
Right. We need to have more revenue or less spending in that program. And yes,
if we eliminated the cap, that program will be solvent forever.
Yeah. Now.
So why not just do that? Why not say, hey, if billionaires have to pay income taxes, why don't they have to pay Social Security taxes?
I just said I don't know why we're arguing because I said we need to have more revenue. Now, one way we can get more revenue is to raise the cap on the payroll tax. If you go to the purpletaxplan.org, you'll see a proposal that I've developed, which is a combination of a broad-based consumption tax with a payroll tax where the cap is eliminated and where the first $40,000 is exempted for an employee portion of the payroll tax, and where there's an annual rebate that people get, or a monthly rebate actually that they get to deal with the retail sales tax that I'm proposing. So, yeah, we can have, and that's called the purple tax, and anybody can go there and sign up and endorse it. There are ways we can expand the base, get the tax rates down, and get more revenue out of the system. So
why not get the tax rates up? In the 50s under Eisenhower, the top tax rate was 91%. America was doing just fine, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, we can. You're right. We've grown well with high tax rates. We've grown well with low tax rates. But
no, during low tax rates, we've run up huge deficits.
Well, I think you have to compare average tax rates with marginal tax rates. When we have very high tax rates, like 90% or 70% tax rates, the effective tax rates were much lower.
No, I'm talking marginal. I get it. Professor, we're out of time here. I'm sorry, but hang on just a second.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Dr. Laurence Kotlikoff, PJInstitute.com. Doctor, thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure.